Hi, folks. I'm Gene McLoughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Usually, the mayor and I have a guest on this program, but since this is the last Old Bridge Outlook for this year, we're going to do a recap of 2022, so it's just the mayor and I. Mayor, how are you doing today?
Hello, Gene. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Okay, Mayor, 2022 followed the ending of the pandemic.
Quick.
It was a
quick.
busy
The
year.
years are getting quicker, busier, and they're going by faster than the speed of light,
sure
as
does.
we say.
It sure does. Mayor, how did the township come out of the pandemic, would you say, in terms of tax losses we discussed? And
Financially, we came out fine. Obviously, the loss of life. We lost well over 200 residents, and we continue to be impacted with COVID, like other families in towns.
Right.
In fact, just the other day, one of my events was canceled because of a COVID outbreak with the hosting entity. So, we're still living with the impacts of COVID. We're fortunate going into the pandemic. The town was in good when we talk about finances.
Yes, sir.
We were in good financial shape. We were able to absorb the financial impact in the beginning.
Right.
We've recovered financially with the rebound in revenues. The CARES money that was doled out by the federal government was put into our parks and park systems to grow them.
Okay.
So overall, we've come out of the pandemic, I think, better than most towns. Better than most towns.
Good.
Obviously, we still have the hardship that was caused by the pandemic with people who, I think everybody knows someone who passed away.
Yeah, I believe so,
And
too.
the unfortunate, if there was a funeral, well, it really wasn't a funeral. If you were in the hospital, you couldn't stay with your loved ones.
Yes.
So that whole nightmare, I don't think we're ever going to recover. That's going to be talked about for decades to
I agree
come.
with you. Yeah, I
But
think so too.
We were forced to change the way the town did business. I will say we never closed those front doors. And we were always open. We answered every call, and we made adjustments.
Well, that's good. And Mayor, it's interesting that out of this came a very busy year with a lot of projects. I think I went back and looked at some other recaps, and this seems to be an unusually busy year for us. But before we get to that, we had a a municipal question on the election this year
Yes, in the past.
about congregation energy.
Aggregation, I call it
Aggregation,
aggravation,
I'm sorry.
obviously, but it's aggregation,
Don't mind-
energy
don't
and
mind me.
aggregation.
Yeah, aggregation.
And it had to do with putting the entire town out to bid to a vendor who would supply green energy.
Right.
And then people would be able to buy into that.
Yes, sir.
Well, unfortunately, things have changed since the onset of that movement to now. The energy market has become very unstable with just a lot of philosophy now, with the reduction of fossil fuels and just whatever's going on globally now has impacted the energy market here in the United States. What this ordinance is calling for, I don't believe is achievable in any way, shape, or
But
form.
taking it past.
Taking it past,
Okay.
I don't believe a lot of towns that have gone through this process before Old Bridge are now rescinding this ordinance.
really?
It appears that the legislation is going to have the BPU not allow these type aggregation programs because of even increased destabilization into the market. And also because the consumer, the electric consumer, has the ability to go and get their energy from a green energy supplier now, currently. They can do that. You can go online and you have options, and you can, the percentage of green energy that you want in your home, anywhere from 50% to 100%. You can do that now.
Right.
So I think this is, the term is, it was much ado about, really, we're not going to be able to do anything about it on the local level. So I apologize for that, but that's just the way things work. When it started out, it was a great idea, ended up, it's not feasible. It's not feasible. It's still a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think people need to do everything in their power to, no pun intended, if they want to be supplied by green energy, they need to take that step themselves, and they can. It's out there.
Okay.
And I know there's mandates federally that the big power suppliers that we all get our electric from, they're under mandates to come up to certain standards by certain years, with 20%, at 30%, at 50%. And at some point, maybe 100 years from now, it will be 100% green energy.
Okay.
So it's there, but you have to go out and get it.
Mayor, I touched on a minute ago, big year with economic development in
Sure,
township.
yeah.
I'd like to start, if I may, with the Route 9 project that passed there the other day. It seems like a lot more activity going on.
Yes.
Can you bring us up to date
We've
on that?
talked about that in the past at length.
sir.
Those projects, those developments that were approved in the late 90s
Yes.
are finally getting built. I can say it, we're getting a new ShopRite, super ShopRite. We're reviewing the plans as we speak right now, the building plans themselves. A big Target, I believe a big medical / type office building, and a number of pad site / restaurant, offshoots of a I don't call it a shopping center anymore, but the concept they're using now.
But Mayor,
Place
it's
that
also-
people forgot.
I'm sorry, Mayor. There's also going to have a number of homes in there, right?
Sure, the Oaks One is being developed,
Oaks One.
and that was approved again in late 90s. That is a number of single-family homes. As you go back,
Yeah.
they're being built right now. As you get closer to Route 9, we have the townhomes,
Really?
like the quads. And then as you get even closer to Route 9, you have more of the condominium type buildings being built. It's probably a little over 1,000 units are being constructed.
Wouldn't think there was that much room back there.
Oh, there's hundreds and hundreds of acres.
Really?
And that was, as we go into the economic development,
Yes, sir.
was that we stopped that type of development. The big shopping center and the big residential move, we stopped that in its tracks. Now further south on Route 9,
Yeah.
it's going to be the warehousing.
Yes, sir.
On the other side, Route 9 North is going to be warehousing and some other commercial development, not the 7,500 additional units, residential units that were planned for that area.
I remember
The
that
Bernetti
battle.
2000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
that was worthy.
So we had to balance the scales. We had to make some difficult choices, but we were lucky. We found a developer to come in that's really going to stabilize the town for the next 30 years minimum, as far as taxes are concerned, with the amount of money that's going to be paid with these pilot programs that are getting for these warehouses, which is happening all over
That
the
is good
state.
news. That is strong news, man.
And we're fortunate that we're developing right along a major highway. I know there's a lot of negative publicity about the warehousing on some communities that are developing these big monster warehouses with a big workforce and a big truck volume out in the middle of nowhere on these old farm roads. The infrastructure is not there in some of these smaller towns. We have the infrastructure right here
sir.
on Route 9, and we're very specific about what the uses of those warehouses are going to be. No fulfillment centers. There's going to be no Amazon type buildings back there. No distribution centers. We don't want the 4,000 or 5,000 people workforce. It's just going to be strictly warehousing, storage for product that comes out of Port Newark and it's brought here. And then from there, it's brought to the distribution centers in other towns.
That's an interesting distinction.
It's a very
you make,
low
yeah.
key, minimal impact on the community
Right.
as far as their
Thanks for making that distinction. It's interesting.
the
thought. I
operations
never
of these
thought it that way.
facilities.
Okay, Mayor, the other thing that's coming along is the golf course, huh?
Yes, it looks like a couple holes already. You could tee off right now. They are working, I'm not going to say around the clock, but they are working 7 days a week. It looks like a golf course now, and hopefully maybe sometime we'll practice with our drone and do an aerial shot of it, and people can actually see what it looks like. But a lot of the tee boxes are in, a lot of the greens are in. They're working on the bunkers where I spend a lot of time. So I'm going to go.
Yes, I know the feeling.
So yes, it's come along. They're building the clubhouse now. The maintenance building is built, but if you drive by there, you can see a golf course now.
I definitely got to get down there. I haven't been down that road in a while. Wow.
Definitely.
Mayor, one of your pet projects, Cottrell Farm. I see a
Farm.
lot of new action there too. I saw
Yes.
beautiful new
We've come a
sign
long
out
way.
front.
Again, that was a concept by previous administrations, Mr. Phillips,
Right.
Barbara Cannon. You can
Yes.
go far back
Yeah.
and had a vision for what they envisioned Control Farm to be in the future. Well, here we are in the present, and I think we're living up to their expectations. The house has been totally restored in and out. The outbuildings are restored on the outside. The grounds are coming along. We just awarded the contract for the next phase, phase 2, which will be the bathrooms. And that'll get us closer to an opening date, allowing the public to
That would be swell.
get on that and start walking and really enjoying it. So we hope that to happen in 2023.
Mayor, is there any chance it could be, and I think we've had some discussion on the National Register of Historic Homes. Is that possible?
We are working
We
with
don't
the
know.
Historical Society here in Old Bridge.
Right.
We're trying to do what's in the best interest. Sometimes that's a curse sometimes when you do that, because then you're limited. to what you can
do,
what you
right.
can do and who
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
So I think we're comfortable where we are right now with the control farm. I think the county's happy what we're doing with it. So it's going to be a jewel when it's all completed.
I think so
And I
too.
think it's the vision of many, many people before me. We all stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us, and I think they like the view that they're seeing.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. Mayor, when last we talked about Habitat for Humanity building something over in Lawrence Harbor, veterans housing and so on. How is that progressing?
Good. Well, the one single unit has been built, the Habitat for Humanity. That family should be moving in any day now.
Right.
The 12 units that are veterans preferred, as we say, are very close to a groundbreaking. They were just dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's when it comes to financing. There's a lot of things going on with the financing of these projects because they are Habitat and because of the low cost that these are owned by the people. They're not going to be rentals. They're going to be, these are going to be owned by the individuals. So there's a lot that goes into the financing of these projects to make sure that they're viable, not only now, but in the future. These people have to get mortgages.
Yeah, I was going to say that's sort of.
They're going to be ownership.
Different. That's different.
It's a different, it's in affordable housing, it's used, but I could say it's not widely used. It's only maybe 10 to 15% of affordable units are owned. The large majority are rental units.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. One other thing we talked about in the past, the solar farm. I think we talked about that during the year. How is that progressing? Where is it?
And that builds upon the green energy aggregation program that we talked about in the beginning of the program. We have two projects in town. One is on 516 and one is on the global landfill. They are part of that green community energy solar program that's being made available to residents here in Old Bridge, that if you want to get in, I believe it's a 20% reduction in your energy bill, if you meet the financial requirements and if you meet the certain standards, you'll be able, volunteers are going to be, we're going to promote volunteers that'll be able to take part of this program. But we have two projects going on in town at the same time, and they are very close to being built and coming online. I anticipate them getting ready to go in 2023. Stay tuned for some more information about that.
Okay.
If you're willing to sign on for this, I would encourage everyone to do it.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. Mayor, if I can ask you to hold your thought.
I'll try.
We're already at the point of taking a break. Folks, we're with Mayor Henry today. We're reviewing the year that has just passed here in the township, 2022, and all of the major activity that took place. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
gonna let you go.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2.
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep up.
So here are a few things we know.
We are not fighting the same virus from 2020.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before, it's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID vaccines are safe.
Much safer than getting COVID-19.
We all want this to end sooner than later.
So go ahead and do things.
Go out and live your life, but get vaccinated. Stay boosted.
We can all do our part.
And get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today, as I said, we're reviewing 2022, all the things that happened in the township. We're going to pick up where we left off. Mayor, we were starting to talk about some of the activities of the various functions in the town, silver linings and the Parks and Rec people. You want to touch a little bit on that?
Sure, Jane, it's important. You know, as you said, we opened the show with the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was the hardest hit department. Our Parks and Recreation department and our Silver Lining Center, the senior center, were shut down prior to even, you know, when we started seeing some of the numbers and identifying the individuals that were getting sick, we immediately shut down a lot of programs. Well, through the hard work and dedication, and I'm going to say creativity of our staff over there, especially Anahita, she developed a virtual senior program where you could stay at home and you were given a laptop and you were able to participate in the programs during COVID. They didn't skip a beat over at the Silver Lake.
I remember, yeah.
And that program has been recognized nationally.
Really?
And just recently, we were recognized at the League of Municipalities, that program for our Silver Linings. And I speak to our seniors almost on a daily basis, and they can't tell you how much that meant to be able to get on that computer, interact with their friends, take part in bingo, and they do whatever activity. It was a full schedule, and they did it from home. And it continues today. Some elderly who have, you know, mobilization problems would rather participate from home. So if you want to talk about a silver lining coming out of COVID, there it was right there.
Yeah, it's all Zoom.
It was through Zoom, through a virtual, through a population that really wasn't familiar with technology. Now they're experts. Zoom, I can't even get on a Zoom meeting. My secretary has to come in and get me on the meeting. They go right in, they know what to do.
They don't let you
They don't wait, they don't need any help doing anything. And so that was really one good thing that did come out of COVID. And I believe, and we all believe, it did save lives. These people were not isolated. They were not home focused on bad things. They were laughing and smiling with their friends. Food was brought to them. They didn't. It was great.
Township
function. And that was all. That was a tremendous effort by Anna and her staff.
Yeah, I mean, this business of isolating the elderly has become a bit of a conversation.
Our Camp Robin programs had to shut down.
Yeah.
We did run some virtual programs, but now we're back in person a lot.
We should get over there too a little.
Absolutely. I think you should talk to some of the seniors, and they'd probably be a better guest than I would be.
Okay.
They talked about how much they love Anna and how much they really appreciate the programs. They're doing painting. They're learning other languages. It's amazing.
That is, we have to get over there.
I see the change in their demeanor from when they walked in the first day to where they are now a few weeks later.
That's an accomplishment.
We have a pool team. We have everything. We have a lot going on.
God,
Billiard team, I should say.
Well, okay. A triumph, Mayor.
It is.
One,
it was a
one
great
for the
triumph.
year, huh? Mayor, how about Parks and Rec? What did they get involved in? There was, I know, I talked to Matt briefly. He's introducing his new programs as we speak.
Sure, yeah. We're like I said, we're back in full blast in person with all the programs. You can go online. You can register. We have an array of programs that's available.
Yes, a lot of them.
We have a big ceramics class now at the basement in the rec building has been redone, refurbished. That's up and running again. The ceramics, the dance classes are very popular. There's just plenty of activity to do here.
I guess.
And Matt and his team, again, and his staff is working around the clock, no pun intended. The arena is the ice is being used continuously from the early mornings to late in the mornings, late morning. So it's almost around the clock at the ice arena, people looking for ice time. The attendance at the open for the public has been off the charts.
And we're one of the few ice arenas in the area.
Yes, and with our arena, you have the experience outdoor.
Right.
Most of the arenas now are indoor arenas.
Yes, sir.
You go and you skate in your shorts and your t-shirts. Here you're bundled up like old-fashioned ice skating, like you see on Courier and Ives, or Norman Rockwell. It's a great setting.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, one thing on the downside maybe is the opioid addiction issue. How did that surface? How was that impacted by the pandemic?
I hate to keep saying the same thing, but we go back to the COVID.
Right.
That had a negative impact. Yeah. Because a lot of services and programs that people were going to and attending were then just cut off and stopped. They were stopped, and people now had to deal with it either on their phone or by themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that were struggling with addiction lost their lives to addiction during COVID.
Yes, sir.
And now we're coming out of it. We see an increased problems, more mental problems are coming out of COVID. Fentanyl has not made anyone's life any easier, and we use the term opioids. Well, now fentanyl is
deadly.
It's deadly.
Yes, sir.
And they're for some reason they're trying to get people addicted on this stuff, even as young children. They're making it in candy form. It looks just like a mint
I saw that
you would take out of any bowl at Christmas. Parents need to be so vigilant. And Roe has taken over, filled in Karen's position, and she's continuing the fight. And we are making progress. I believe we are making progress between the police department, the municipal alliance, the school system is heavily involved now. And Roe is bringing additional programs into the town, from outside town, that can help people, because it's still unfortunate
I know.
that people are still struggling with alcohol and drug addiction and an increased mental illness. But we are going in the right direction. The hospital just opened up their section of the new emergency room, which strictly deals with mental illness. The rooms and the treatment is there now for these people who we have to take, and bring them somewhere because they need help so badly.
Well, that is a
and
shame.
The Narcan is being used with the reversals. We're probably up to close to 50 reversals so far this year. But the fentanyl is deadly.
It is. Boy, I tell you, at least you're making progress, which is the name of the game, man. Okay, Mayor, one thing, new hires? Administration, police
2022
department?
was a year of hiring. We have a lot of new faces around here. The police department, we've hired a lot of new officers in 2022. I believe most of our positions are filled. We're still always looking for before and after care, and there's always something available online. But I think most of our key positions are filled right now.
Okay. Mayor, how about your other favorite topic, and that's snow?
Oh,
snow
yes,
preparation.
Yes. Some people don't like me because I like snow.
I know.
I'm a snowplower.
I thought I'd have to mention it, though, Mayor.
I don't know. Yes, the town is ready. We have all our subcontractors in order, so if we do get a significant snow, we have an army of trucks and vehicles to get out there. Our public works is the first wave, you know, small snowstorms, we can go out, the icing problems, the sleet, we're out there in numbers. In all awards, we've purchased some new equipment, some bigger equipment. Yeah, we're ready for the snow, Gene, as we always are. And I have no doubt in my mind with Casey and his crew, we've expanded the numbers of our public works department, so we have more people available.
Okay.
You know, and as during a snowstorm, you know, you can't work straight through. You can only work so many hours.
Yes, sir.
Then you have to take hours off. So we need to rotate our staff. And Casey and Matt have combined forces now with the Parks and Recreation people and equipment. We have a lot to do when it snows, but I'm confident it's going to get done.
Okay, good.
And we ask
Thank you,
people to
Mayor.
please cooperate with us.
Okay.
You know, we'll probably do a.
The weather cooperates.
We'll put the public service information out there. Stay off the streets, park in your driveway, get everything removed from the street, so we can go down the street and up curb to curb. But it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. I can feel it in the air.
Okay. Oh, don't even say that, Mayor. Mayor, looking ahead, if you want to take a brief look ahead, 2023, what do you see? One or two things.
Well, I want to continue on the track that we're going down right now. I mean, we've been derailed a few times,
Yes,
but
sir.
I think we've been focused. My administration and my directors and all of my staff, we're all focused on moving Old Bridge forward in a direction, keeping a balance, keeping the finances in order. I always say, unless the finances are in order, we can't help you if we can't help ourselves. That's important to me. The financial looks good for Old Bridge, the financial future with these, with the redevelopment plans that we have in place that are moving forward. The future looks good. I think 23, and you know, we never saw the pandemic coming.
Right.
But who knows what 23, but we're ready. I think the town is ready, and I've proven that over the last 11 years.
Yes, sir.
Whatever Mother Nature throws at us, whatever human, you know, throw at us, whatever is thrown at us, we've been able to look at it, analyze it, and fix it, and get the town through it. And I'm confident in everyone's ability. It's a team effort here, Gene, in our town. And I think people who have the dealings with the town see that. As soon as they walk in the doors, how can we help you?
Plus, it'll be a continuation of many of these projects that we've just talked about, too.
Yes,
It'll be
like I said, we
developing and growing.
Cottrell Farm, the golf course, there's so many good things to look forward to in 2023.
Okay, well, Mayor, I think we're coming to the end of the day here. One thing I'd like to wish you Merry Christmas, you and the family, and Joseph, Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy 2023.
That's the main thing, Gene, health.
Yeah, definitely, and hope Santa Claus is good to Joseph along the way.
He will be. I got a feeling he's going to be pretty good.
He's going to be okay.
Yeah, I
for
think
Joseph,
he's going to be good. And Gene, let me just say you before we close that I appreciate all the things, your effort over the last, way before me. You've been here, you and the OBTV staff. Thank you for everything that they do to get this information out to the public. And Gene, you're the rock of Old Bridge. How many years, Gene?
Thank you, Mayor.
How many years?
How many years? 34.
34 years. Things have come and gone in Old Bridge,
Yes.
Gene, but you have came and stayed, and I appreciate that. It's such a
Mayor
it's a joy
Haney was
to
the
be
mayor
sitting
when
next
I
to you.
joined. So, 34 years. It goes
34
fast,
years,
Mayor.
your knowledge,
But I
the
love
way you
it
handle
anyway.
yourself. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Gene. Thank you.
Well-
To you and your family, health. And please, I look forward to talking to you in 2023.
Okay, Mayor, we'll have to do more of these shows, too.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for your praise right now. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the mayor and the administration here in the township, I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, a very happy, healthy New Year, a happy Hanukkah, and a happy Kwanzaa. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you again in 2023. I'm Gene McLoughlin. Thank you.